All right, so today you're going to be diving deep into the world of boxing with a look at British heavyweight Frazer Clarke.
Definitely one of the more interesting fighters out there right now.
Absolutely. You sent us his Wikipedia page, wanting to know more about his career, and honestly, there's no better place to start than that bronze medal from the Tokyo Olympics.
Right off the bat, that tells you he's got serious talent.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing that not everyone realizes. Even getting to those Olympics was a whole saga in itself. Like in 2016, he was in the running for the Rio Games.
And he gets passed over for Joe Joyce?
Who goes on to win silver in Rio. Can you imagine? You're that good that you're considered a backup to an Olympic medalist? That's wild.
It really highlights the level of competition we're talking about here. The tiniest margins can make all the difference.
Totally.
Hmm.
And as if that wasn't enough pressure, then you have the 2017 European Championships. Clarke wins silver, which is amazing on its own. But get this, he did it with a torn hamstring.
Yeah, that's the thing about Frazer Clarke. The guy is tough as nails. I mean, to compete at that level with a serious injury, it's almost unheard of.
Hold on. He fought in a major championship with a torn hamstring. This wasn't some low-stakes sparring match. We're talking about the European Championship.
And he still medaled. Unfortunately, that injury forced him to sit out the World Championships that year. But that's the thing about amateur boxing. It's not all about the Olympics.
Okay, so break that down for us. What else should we be looking at when we talk about Clarke's amateur career?
Well, for starters, you've got the World Series of Boxing, the WSB.
What's that? Some kind of boxing league.
Exactly. Think of it like boxing's Champions League. It's a team event, and Clarke absolutely killed it there. He wasn't just winning. He was going toe-to-toe with some of the best amateur boxers in the world.
So these weren't easy fights.
No, sir. These were guys also gunning for those Olympic spots. It was a real proving ground, and Clarke more than held his own.
So even before he goes pro, you can see this guy's got something special.
100%.
So we've seen what Frazer Clarke can do as an amateur.
And it's impressive, no doubt.
No doubt about it. But the big question is, how does that translate to the pros?
Right, because the pros, that's a whole different ballgame.
And in 2021, he finally takes the plunge, signs with BOXXRR.
Big move. BOXXRR, they're a powerhouse in boxing.
They are. And his first pro fight, boom, first round knockout. Like textbook, perfect start, right?
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better debut. I mean, it really got people talking.
Oh, for sure. Everyone's thinking this guy's going to be a world champion in no time.
And then comes March 2024.
That's right. Things take a bit of a turn. Clarke steps into the ring with Fabio Wardley. And it's not just any fight either. We're talking 3 titles on the line.
The British, the Commonwealth, and the WBO European heavyweight titles. Stakes don't get much higher than that.
Exactly. This was a chance for Clarke to really cement his place in the heavyweight division.
And those titles, they're not just for show either.
Right. What do they actually mean for a boxer's career?
They're like stepping stones. Think about it. Winning those regional titles, it gets you noticed. It puts you in line for a world title shot. It shows everyone you're a serious contender.
Okay, so huge pressure on Clarke for this fight.
Yeah.
And the result?
A split draw. Ugh, the split draw. The bane of boxing. Always leaves everyone arguing.
Tell me about it. One judge had it 114-113 for Wardley, another had 115-112 for Clarke, and the third, a dead even 113-113.
Talk about a nail-biter. One judge away from a completely different story.
Right, one judge away from Clarke holding 3 belts, potentially on his way to a world title shot.
Exactly. Instead, we're left with a ton of questions.
And the biggest one being, what happens next?
Well, luckily for us, we don't have to wait long to find out.
The
rematch is set October 12, 2024 in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, man. Saudi Arabia, they're really pulling out all the stops for this one.
I know what they've got. A fight with this much intrigue, with these stakes, it's going to be huge.
Huge is an understatement. So for Frazer Clarke, what does this rematch really mean? So I've got Frazer Clarke, right? And it's like this weird push and pull with his career.
Yeah, how would you summarize it? Because on paper, it looks amazing, but then when you actually look at the details, it's like, is it as amazing as it seems?
Exactly. Like you see that dominant amateur run, the first round knockout as a pro, and you think, okay, this guy's the real deal.
Little world beater in the making.
Right. But then you have those injuries popping up, the draw with Wardley, and it makes you wonder.
It's like, hold on, is this guy going to be injury prone his whole career? Or was that draw a fluke? Or
does it tell us something else? Like maybe he's got the skills, but can he hack it at the very highest level?
See, and that's the thing with the heavyweight division, isn't it? It's a different beast altogether.
Because one punch can change everything.
100%. It doesn't matter how technically sound you are. if you can't take a punch.
Or if you can't deliver that knockout blow when you need it.
Then it's a long night. And those are the big question marks hanging over Clarke, I think.
Because we know he can box. He's proven that time and time again.
But can he handle the pressure cooker of a world title fight? Can he take those power shots? Can he dish them out when it matters? That's what this rematch will tell us.
That's what makes this fight so exciting. It's more than just belts on the line. It's a litmus test for Frazer Clarke.
Totally. Can he bounce back from that draw? Prove he can hang with the best of the best. We're about to find out.
And that's what I'll be watching for. Not just the win or loss, but how he handles himself in there.
The grit, the determination, the heart, all of it.
Because that's what separates the contenders from the champions.
No doubt. And that's why we're all going to be glued to our screens come October 12th, right? To see if Frazer Clarke has what it takes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This has been a fascinating deep dive.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gone from casual fan to armchair expert on Frazer Clarke.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
But seriously, we've covered a lot of ground today, from his early days in the amateurs to that big rematch coming up.
And the big takeaway for me is that Frazer Clarke is at a crossroads in his career.
He is. And that rematch with Wardley, it's make or break time.
It really is. So for anyone listening, make sure you tune in for that fight because it's going to be one for the ages.
One for the ages. And who knows, maybe after that, we'll be back here doing a deep dive on Frazer Clarke, the world champion.
That's a deep dive I'd love to do.